Hello, Master Duel Central. How's it going, guys? So I think it's time for a new tier list. The last one is super outdated. Honestly, the meta has been kind of disgusting with the new cards that came out and just the Duelist Cup and everything. The new pack has definitely changed up the game quite a bit. So just to set the groundwork here, I do think that these two decks here, Runic and Branded Despia, are both top tier, and we're kind of going to base the whole list off of these two. Runic has just been super annoying. I know some people might say it's actually not top tier because like the way that you can counter it is very simple, but I do think it's just a case of like being another deck that you just have to draw the out. I also think just because it's a best of one format, a deck like Runic really excels because we can't literally just side just to counter it. We need to kind of just like randomly run some Cyclones, which makes our decks worst, just in case we run into Runics or some other cards like Lancia or something like that, if you can afford to run that. So yeah, I don't know. I think Runic honestly is a lot better than some people are giving it credit for. Of course, most people are pretty sick of this deck already, and it just came out. I don't think it was a very good idea, honestly, to drop the Runics just as the event started. It's kind of gross. It's been kind of annoying. Yesterday, if you guys want to see me rage a lot, you can go watch my past streams playlist. Yesterday, I started the stream, and it was one of my best streams ever, and by the end of the stream I was like losing my mind. Like I wasn't even myself anymore because I was so mad. I was just stuck in duel level 19 and just going up and down because of this fucking deck. So yeah, honestly, man, Runic incredible at the moment. Hopefully it doesn't stick around and this is just a phase and I'm actually wrong, it's not top tier. But to me, it seems like this is going to be sticking around. And Branded Despia, I mean, nothing changed. Like, Branded Despia is just one of those decks. It's amazing going first, amazing going second, good at breaking boards, good at making boards, has a lot of good interruptions. Like, I just think this deck is amazing. It is what it is. For the next one here, we have Umi Control. Now, in my opinion, Umi Control, it was really good for a while. Because of the Runics going around right now, I honestly think they're not even rogue. I genuinely think they're just playable. I think Umi Control is just kind of in a bad place right now. The meta just doesn't really like allow it to shine, and I guess that's not a bad thing. I also think a lot of the Umi Control players actually switched to Runic. So yeah, Umi Control, it's playable, I guess. Next up, we have Numerons. Now, Numeron's in a weird place right now. I used to think it was really like amazing, like almost top tier. But again, Runics are just completely warping the format right now. So I feel like they're actually not that good because against Runic, like Numerons are trash. Like they're just not good. So honestly, probably gonna put it like in tier 3 because it's not like it's the only deck you're facing. But the fact that it's around so often makes it kind of discouraging to go out there with Numerons and just hope to be not playing against Runic, you know? Next up, we have Invoked here, and this basically means like Dogmatica Shaddoll Invoked. And I also think Dogmatica Shaddoll Invoked is about tier 3. It's still a really great deck. Like you could put it tier 3, you could put it Rogue even. Actually, I'll put it Rogue. I don't think it's quite tier 3, but it's like Rogue. It's good. It's alright. It can definitely play. Like it's not bad or anything. Next up, we have Zombies. Now, Zombies got a lot of new stuff, but it has not made the splash that we expected. I have seen some cool ass decks with it, you know, with the Necro face and stuff like that, and they have cool banishing effects now. People run them with Shiranuis at the moment, unless they're playing Zombie World Eldritch. I think they sit neatly. I don't know if I want to say tier 2 yet. I'm going to put them at top of tier 3, but this could go up. It's just that I haven't seen much results with them yet, and I think people are still trying to figure out the optimal way to play this deck. I'm still trying to figure out. I want to make a video on the new support, but I'm not exactly sure the way to run it. I thought it would be a lot better, but without Halleck, it makes it kind of rough, so we'll see what happens with that, but I think tier 3 is pretty fair for the Zombies here. Next up, we have Adamancipator. Adamancipator's been kind of nice lately. I might be wrong about this, but I feel like tier 2 is kind of fair for them. Obviously, when they go first, they are insane, and they can play through a lot of interruption. I've seen them struggle going second, but I've also seen them play through like many interruptions because they have a lot of extenders. So yeah, I think tier 2 kind of teetering on tier 3, but we'll put it in tier 2 for now. They're definitely a lot better than I gave them credit for in the last tier lists. Here we have Blue Eyes. Now, Blue Eyes, it's like barely playable. It's like playable, like barely. Like it's just there. I guess you can get to Diamond 1 if you're lucky. Sword Soul. Honestly, man, Sword Soul has not been doing it for me. Like, it's just a bit too fair at the moment. Wow. It's very consistent, though. Like, we can't take that away from them. And you'll still get wins. You'll still rank highly with Sword Soul. So I don't think it's quite tier 3, but man, it's maybe like tier 2. You know, like it's tier 2. It's not amazing. Sets up one Omni negate, one monster negate. Sometimes if you're lucky, you'll get a drag guide on top of it, but it's just not that great, honestly. Going second, it's pretty good in the sense that like they always draw the out, but other than that, like it's not that amazing. I think that their board is pretty easy to break. The one thing they also have going for them that I didn't mention is also like they play through hand traps really well. Like they can play around Ash and stuff. So I guess they have that going for them as well. So yeah, I think tier 2 kind of fair. This one might be lower and zombie might be higher. You know, like you might have to switch zombies eventually. Next we have Thunder Dragons, and Thunder Dragons, this is kind of like the branded Thunder Dragon deck. Honestly, Thunder Dragon branded might be tier 1.5. Now this might be a cringe take, maybe a L take, but Runic triggers your Runic triggers your Thunder Dragon effects, right, when they banish it, which is pretty funny. And then also, like, you get to lock out Runic by just setting up a Colossus. It literally shuts down Runic completely. So I actually think the Thunder Dragons right now are not looking too bad. Thunder Dragons are looking kind of nice. Next up we have Dinos. Now I was doing really good with Dinos in the event. Obviously I got to 19 and then it was up and down, up and down. So definitely not like tier 1 or tier 1.5 or anything. But I honestly think it's better than Sword Soul. Maybe I'm coping because Dinos is definitely less consistent. But you know, yeah, I guess so. I guess I am coping. We're gonna put it tier 2, but it's like under Sword Soul, to be honest. It's doing really good for me. Obviously, it's just maybe because I have good knowledge on the deck, so I'm performing pretty well with it. But yeah, I definitely think like Dinos is in a decent place right now because we can play the Naturia Beast combo, which I showcased in my last What Should You Play video. And that Naturia Beast combo just completely shuts down Runic, it shuts down Despia, shuts down a lot of decks actually. And it's a good combo deck. I also like going second, but right now going second just feels rough for me. I just don't like going second decks in the current format. There's too many good combo decks going around, and Runic is just too annoying to play against going second. Next up we have Eldritch here. They've got all the new zombie stuff. It's maybe it's 1.5. Maybe I'm gonna put it at the top of tier 2. I think Eldritch is like not in a terrible place right now at the moment in the game, honestly. Unless they have the floodgates, I feel kind of relieved when I'm playing against Eldritch. I'm like, oh, okay, it's Eldritch, and we're playing a lot of actually, you know what? I'm gonna put this lower because everyone's playing backrow hate right now. Everyone's playing backrow hate. Like Cosmic Cyclone is rough against Eldritch. Everyone's running 3 Cyclone right now. So we're actually going to put Eldritch like at the bottom of tier 2. I just changed my mind on that. I just realized that. Next up we have Drytron. Now Drytron has seen some play recently, and it's not very good. I'll put it in Rogue. Obviously it can set up some amazing boards, don't get me wrong, but like Drytron is still like, it's so much more interruptible than it was before. People get real creative with it, but it just nothing comes close to what it was doing earlier in the game's life. So I don't know, I think Rogue at best, to be honest. Here we have Endymion. Endymion, in my opinion, like, they can set up a window. They got all their interruptions and stuff. Going second, they can bait out a lot of negates pretty easily and still get a decent combo going. It's a weird one. Oh, also you can set up Village of the Spellcasters and just shut down Runic completely. Yeah, I'm honestly teetering on 1.5 for Endymion right now. But I think it's still tier 2, just at the moment probably at the top of tier 2. This deck is just amazing right now. Flundereeze. Now Flundereeze is not bad or anything right now. I'd say Flundereeze, they still do some good things. People have found like different ways of playing with Flundereeze. They just won't let the birds die. So honestly, man, it's been kind of good. Like low key, like probably in tier 2. Just probably like right here, I would say. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm honestly like really sick of seeing this deck, but I'm not gonna lie, it's still good. I wish it wasn't. I wish it was worse, but it's actually still good. Next up we have Labyrinth. Now Labyrinth is really strong. Really strong, but it really dies hard to backrow removal, and everyone's running backrow removal because of Runic as well as Labyrinth a little bit. So I actually think Labyrinth is either at the probably like at the top of tier 3 at the moment. It's really solid. Honestly, actually, no, you know what? I think it's actually better than Eldritch. I just think those removal effects right now are more valuable than Eldritch's engine. But the one thing is both of them really die hard to the same cards that Runic dies hard to, and everyone's running them because of Runic. So I would say that also, it's just a very fragile engine though. Like it dies even harder than Eldritch to backrow removal. But I also think this deck has an easier time winning quicker. So yeah, I would say this is a pretty good spot for it. And it's also just like a very explosive deck. Like once you start popping off those effects, like the advantage you generate is just like like your opponent just can't recover. So definitely I think this is like a amazing deck right now. I know tier 2 is looking huge. It's just a very varied format right under the top tier at the moment, to be honest. And honestly, I'm kind of inclined to put even Eldritch like tier 3 at the moment, because I feel more threatened by Labyrinth than I do by Eldritch. Like, Eldritch does not feel very threatening to me right now. Next up, we have Salamangreats. And Salamangreats, I'll just say instantly, it's like tier 3. They set up some good negates and stuff like that. I'm honestly teetering on Rogue even. But we'll put it in tier 3 because like it's still extremely consistent. It's still very good, but like going second in the current format with Salamangreat is nasty. One thing that's cool about Salamangreat is they run multiples of all their good cards, so usually you can still play if like Runic gets rid of a bunch of cards from your deck that you really need. Like, you can still play with Salamangreat and do some decent stuff. So, and it's got a lot of extenders too to play through. So I would say tier 3, pretty fair for Salamangreat. And next up, we got Heroes. Now, Heroes are just a definition of Rogue. I don't really need to explain it. It's Heroes, man. Come on, it's Rogue. Speaking of Rogue, I would say, like, honestly, right under Heroes, we have Life Twin. Life Twin's just not looking too good right now. Of course, they can run a bunch of hand traps, which is nice. Like, you could run Lancias and a bunch of stuff and try to stop these guys from doing their thing. But just in general, I feel like Life Twin's just not in a very good place in the game right now. So I think Rogue is fair for it. Literalist Tri-Brigade, at the moment, like, playable. It's just playable. It's fine. Phantom Knights, Adventure Phantom Knights. This deck is really good. I'm not sure if it's above or under Adam Emancipator. It's pretty even with that deck, I'd say. It's just a good deck. It's got good boards. It's got like combos that can play through many interruptions, and it's just a really strong deck. Adventure Engine protecting you from different interruptions so that you can go full combo is really nice. Cherubini is obviously a broken card. Like Adventure Phantom Knights is just a good deck. It's good. Next we have Sky Striker, and Sky Striker right now not looking great. I'm kind of teetering on putting it in Rogue even. It's either tier 3 or Rogue for me. I think it's a little better than Hero, so I'll put it in tier 3 at the bottom of tier 3, because I do think like its ability to break boards and stuff and like bait out negates and just like gain control incrementally of the game is really cool. Although maybe I should put it higher, because there are people playing Striker Runic, which is not better than Runic, but it is better than Sky Strikers. So I guess considering Striker Runic, we can probably put Striker at the top of tier 3 to be fair. Next up we have just Tri-Brigade, and I'm going to consider this like Tri-Brigade Scareclaw. And I'm sorry to say, but this deck right now is not really amazing. It's not bad though. Like, it's still good. I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to put in Endymion in 1.5 because I feel like that's the right spot for it. It's just an awkward ass format for a deck like this. I still think it's good though. You still generate crazy advantage. You get good like control of the board and stuff when you go first. It's just going second that I'm kind of mixed on, honestly, at the moment, because people are playing like huge negate boards right now in the game, or they're playing, like I said, this weird shit. Yeah, I think this deck is gonna have to go like in tier 3, probably right above Sky Striker, probably right above it. It's still good, but it's weird. It's weird. Next up we have Rockets. Honestly, Rockets are like Rogue right now. They're like the top of Rogue. I might be like underestimating them. They're still really good, but like, bro, like Alba being around and 90% of people still playing like Despia makes this deck such a risk, bro. When I was playing to Rocket for a while, like when I started Duelist Cup, I was going for Rocket and I got Alba like 2 or 3 times and I was like, no, I can't play this. It's just the risk of like playing against Despia and that they just set Albaz and literally out your entire board is just too much. Now I understand, like, if this wasn't as popular, if this deck wasn't as popular, we could probably put this a little higher. But I don't know. I mean, this deck never breaks though. Like, it's incredibly consistent. Maybe Rogue is too low for it, but I do think it's like tier 3. I think it's like tier 3. And probably, yeah, I definitely put it too low because it's definitely better than Salamangreat. But like, I don't think it's like much better than Numeron. I think they're like in a similar place for just like opposite reasons. Next up we have Scareclaw, and just pure Scareclaw is still awesome. You know, you play with Adventure and stuff. Pure Scareclaw I still think is like better than like Drytron, but it's like Rogue for sure. It's definitely just Rogue. Next up we have Spiral here. Now Spiral is like wow, Spiral's amazing. Spiral right now is disgusting. I totally underrated this deck. Like, that ban list really made the deck way too busted. I can't stand this deck. This deck and Adamantipator is very similar in the sense that they're these combo decks that play forever and are super annoying, and I just turn on Tetris and I turn Chaining off and I just play Tetris while they're doing their combo, because like if not I'm gonna fall asleep looking at them play. But man, I'm honestly teetering on 1.5. This deck is insane. The reason I'm not going to put it 1.5 is because going second, I would say struggles even more than like Adamantipator. So I think it's right under here. Yeah, I'd say it's like right under Adamantipator at the moment. But yeah, Spiral is super incredible. Super strong deck right now. Incredible deck. And finally, for the end of our list here, Pendulum Magicians. And I think Pendulum Magicians are like right above Endymion. They're just insane right now. So many different ways of playing the deck, and you can play through so many interruptions and hand traps and shit like that. And they just keep playing. They do these crazy boards, so many negates, good recursion. Like, it's just a really insane combo deck at the moment. Pendulums are actually like in a really good place in the game right now. So keep an eye out for them. If you like Pendulums, this is your time to shine. Obviously, it's not like the top tier, but man, they're really friggin' good. And yeah, that's gonna be my list. Honestly, like, really not enjoying the format right now. Runic is like, it's just so bad, man. The Duelist Cup is such an awful event. It's really bad. But I did want to give you guys like an updated tier list, give you my updated thoughts. Let me know if you agree, disagree. I know like it's kind of a messy list. It's just the format is such a mess right now. It's really hard to make sense of it. And yeah, that's gonna be it for me. Thank you for checking out the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel because we're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by New Year's. We're only 250 away, so I think we can get it. And, you know, huge shout out to my UCT tier members. That's Raptor, Bongerman for 20, Dad Dude, Joey, Who Demand Me, Right Toast, as well as Brett Webster. And as well as everyone supporting over in the Mist tier, Baby tier, over on Twitch. And you, of course, who's liking, commenting, and subscribing. That's going to be it from me. All right. Peace.